There are 1.36 billion Catholics worldwide. And it wasn't until this last year or so that I really realized and was brought into awareness how people view the Catholic Church as inherently hateful, which to me is totally foreign because I converted to Catholicism when I was 21 and I was a much more hateful person prior to becoming Catholic. Catholicism gave me the basis of what love truly is, to revere and respect other people as having inherent dignity and worth regardless of what choices they make in their lives, and to leave judgment to God, that there are rules and boundaries within the faith that Christ has left for us that we are to abide by, that we are to invest ourselves into and seek understanding to. But this whole concept that they aren't my rules. They aren't rules that I've said, hey, you need to live your life by this. It's more Christ saying to me, you need to live your life by this. And so I submit myself to the doctrine of the Catholic faith. And that in turn has made me more loving than I ever was prior to being Catholic. I know a lot of people say stuff like, oh, there's no love like Christian love, or no hate like Christian love, or however it's phrased. And it's just look, having love is willing the good of another person. And when somebody stands from a place of having a belief in eternal life, that we believe that God has created the world, that from start to finish, start to now, that he is actively in existence and involved in our lives, and the devil is a real and active presence with his minions, with the demons, trying to steal your soul, trying to mislead you and guide you away from truth and love and purity and goodness. It is out of love that we would seek to share the truths that we understand. Why would I choose to share the truths that I understand within the Catholic faith, knowing that it is going to cause people to hate me, that it is going to cause people to have anger against me, that, there are martyrs in the church. Obviously, people have hated the church. Christ says they will hate you because they hated me first. Why have people hated Christ? Where does that stem from? Why is there hate in something that is so good and beautiful and sacrificial and everything else? I mean, is it insecurity? Is it jealousy? Is it envy? Is it pride, which would ultimately turn to envy, right? Because we want things to be our way and not somebody else's. When I became Catholic, I had to submit. I have a very strong personality, very strong spirit, very strong convictions in my life. And so when I became Catholic, my convictions became that of the magisteriums. Because I do believe that that is the seat of Peter, that Christ handed the keys to Peter, and there has been an apostolic succession of the popes, that directly Pope Francis, the hands that laid on him have been directly, all the handshakes, right? We're 6 degrees in the world right now. We all know each other by the 6th person, isn't that what it is? So, when you shake someone's hand, you've shaken everybody's hand in the world by 6 degrees. It's directly from Christ that there has been the laying on of hands during ordination. And so for me, submitting to the church, seeing the hate that has come toward previous Catholics, knowing that they were doing what they were doing out of love, out of willing the good for another. And I know that so many people do that in a misguided way. And perhaps I'm the one who's misguided, right? I could be. And I also see other situations where I believe that they are incredibly misguided in certain instances. And I have to say, they are either acting out of love or they're acting out of hate. And a lot of times there is a level of hate that is in existence against those who are guiding in a different direction than they are. Whereas in the authoritative approach, in what me, Allie Marie, my company, the authoritative approach, in my coaching sessions, in what I share, whenever I speak, whenever I talk and communicate and interact with others, I mean, it is about love. It's first and foremost willing the good of another. So if somebody is being misguiding in another situation, that I would, out of love, confront them and speak with them and say, hey, here is the middle ground. It's not all black and white. There is so much gray area in the area of humanity due to our original sin, but also due to our personal experiences, due to humanity, due to emotions, due to all these different things that all are intertwined into what make us up into the person that we are and that makes us up into the human race. I have not been on YouTube for several months now. I have taken a step back and have been focusing my energy elsewhere, and I am going to be returning. I am coming back to studying the faith, studying doctrine in the way that I always have for the past 10 years. And I'm going to be sharing again the truths that I understand in the faith, and I'm going to interact those truths with these recent understandings that I have come to see and be brought into awareness of through my interactions on TikTok, right? Through my interactions with a different ideology, my interactions with people who believe differently than I do. To say this is where we have these two extremes. You know, you have like bipartisan type stuff if you get political, but it doesn't have to be bipartisan, just this polar opposite. And then where's the gray area? How do we come in with love and still have boundaries and use reason and logic alongside being understanding and compassionate on both sides? That you would be able to, that somebody that disagrees with me would be able to offer me compassion and love and your willing of good for me, just as I am standing here willing the good for you and meeting you with compassion to the best of my ability. Now, treating somebody with compassion does not mean that you have to allow them to bully you. It does not mean that you have to allow, and this is where some of the semantics of the 21st century end up coming into play. What is bullying? What is hate? What is, my YouTube short that I just posted this last week? What is homophobia? What is transphobia? Because these very could be powerful words, these things that have very blatant meanings in my mind for what hate is, for being mean, for all of these things, to water them down and have it be, well, here's the white, here's hate, and then actually we're also going to have this same definition of hate for all the way into this gray area, all the way to here, and then when you start getting to love, like you just can't even disagree. Disagreement means hate and disrespect, where that is not the case at all. Yes, you can disagree with disrespect. But there is also a level of communication and dialogue and interaction and a walking away of saying, hey, we still don't agree, but I can understand where you're coming from a little bit better. Now let me go examine my thought process and how I understand the world, because it's clearly different than yours. But this idea that we all have to think the exact same way in order to get along, in order to be of one race, it's not practical. It's not realistic. It's not anything that we would want in this world. We need diversity. Cultures are all different. The United States is a melting pot. That's why, like, our whole country is like one big experiment. There aren't many other countries that have done what we have done in taking all the different cultures and melding them together. And so at least, there probably are some, but it's not the standard. Usually people do stay with their own cultures. And so it's all fascinating. And so here we have the melting pot of all these different religions. And we're seeing how can we interact? How can we uphold dignity and respect for another while holding the boundaries of what we believe to be true, while offering a compassionate ear to another who doesn't think the same way as we do, and then walk away with growth, walk away with saying, okay, I see where you're coming from. I still am resolute in my convictions, and you can remain resolute in yours. And let's continue thinking and talking and dialoguing. That's what philosophy is, right? Philosophy is a never-ending conversation. Philosophy will never be done. There is always going to be another step in the conversation. And I believe that continually pushing that boundary, continually engaging in that area of our brain, in that area of critical thinking and critical reasoning, I think is just such an essential part to our humanity. It's something that sets us apart from the animals. It's something that sets us apart from each other, even in our ability and the directions that our thoughts take us. We all think differently. We have different thought processes. No two people experience this world in the exact same way in any capacity. Like, you know, we smell the same smells, but even those are different. We see the same colors, but the hues are still going to be different, but we would never know. There's certain things that we are never going to know from another person's perspective, and that's why we have to meet with compassion. We have to be asking questions, and we also have the right and duty to share our findings, our understandings with love, with compassion, with pieces. And so it's all very fascinating to me, the accusations that end up happening on both sides of the aisle, to say, you know, you have done this wrong. And so now you are being hypocritical in your statement of what you're trying to say. And that's where semantics end up really getting into murky water in America in the 21st century, trying to change definitions of certain words, trying to change definitions of like fundamental pieces, right? And getting into like politically correct terms and whatever else. And it's just like defining what disrespect is, you know, because we are all worthy of dignity and respect. And so how do we define what respect is? And maybe that's one of the topics that I can cover here in the next, you know, in this next series, in this next sequence, in my next time here on YouTube as I post consistently again. But I did just want to check in and give you my initial thoughts here, and let you know that I am anticipating coming back as a regular scheduled programming on Thursdays afternoons, probably Thursday afternoons. I guess I'm not decided right now, and I don't have to be. But it will be a good journey for myself. And I hope to be able to offer insights to you as well. I know that this is probably a little bit more for my followers than people who are brand new to my channel. But, you know, if you are new, again, I'm Allie Marie. Followers and new followers alike, I would let you know that I am 20 weeks pregnant with twins. I don't think I've actually shared that on YouTube. I've shared it on other platforms, on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. But I don't believe I've even been on YouTube since we received the good news. So we are, partway through a pregnancy right now, and really excited for that. And the babies will be here sometime in January. So anyway, but that's kind of my thoughts for today. Those are my thoughts, and I just wanted to be able to put that out there for you and say hello so you see my face, because I know it has been a while. And I'm just looking forward to growing in this journey again and diving back into the resources that I have available to me, and getting back to the catechetical side of my faith, to get back to diving deeper into doctrine, into what is it that the church teaches on a very foundational level, and just hope and pray that the Holy Spirit can use that in whatever way that he sees fit, and that our Blessed Mother can continue to guide me and help me grow in my disposition and faith and grace and all those pieces. And I just, pray that my offering of that to all of you as well is able to help you in the similar regard. So God bless you. Thank you for tuning in. And I look forward to kind of this revamp in content as the authoritative approach, where love and boundaries meet. So God bless. I'll talk to you guys soon.